Hi students, and welcome to today's lesson. I'm Ms. Albina. Today we will continue to explore the question, what can fossils reveal about a region? Are you ready? Grab your pencil and your science journal and let's get started. We've spent the last few lessons going back in time, looking at fossils from millions of years ago, and thinking about the organisms that once lived in the South Central region. Fossils can reveal so much. They can reveal a lot about a location's past environment and how that environment has changed over time. But sometimes we don't have to go back quite as far to see how an environment has changed. In fact, sometimes we can see evidence about the past in photographs, like these two. What do you notice is similar about these two photographs? I notice that both photographs have snow in them and mountains in the background. Now, what is different about the two photographs? Well, one photograph is black and white and the other is in color. I also noticed that one shows ice and snow in the foreground, and the other shows a grassy field. I also see water in this photograph, but I don't see any water in the second one. That's quite a lot of differences. Would you believe that these photographs were both taken at the same location in Alaska, but the first photograph was taken in the summer of 1917, and the second photograph was taken in the summer of 2005. That's 88 years apart. Isn't that incredible? Imagine someone who was born in this location in 1917. If they were still alive today, how might they describe how the environment has changed during their lifetime? I think that person would be shocked by the changes. Where there used to be ice and snow, there's now a grassy field. And there's no longer a body of water. It's awesome that we have photographic evidence of these changes to make our comparison. But what if we want to compare a present-day environment to an environment much further in the past than 1917? If we want to know more about this butterfly and its environment, why can't we just look at old photographs to see for ourselves? Well, remember, the butterfly that formed this fossil lived 34 million years ago, after the earliest dinosaurs, but before the earliest humans. Unfortunately, cameras did not exist millions of years ago, and I don't know anyone who is millions of years old whom we could interview. Do you? In fact, the earliest humans were not even around yet when this butterfly fossil formed. But now we know that by analyzing fossils, we can learn more about past environments, even if we don't have photographs to view or prehistoric people to interview. So today, we will investigate how the environment in the South Central region has changed over time. We'll examine more fossils and continue to explore the question, what can fossils reveal about a region? Let's start by taking a look at another location in the South Central region, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This photograph shows a present-day environment. It may even seem familiar. Is there a park or playground near where you live? What kinds of observations do you think will help us describe this present-day environment? Well, we could make observations about any organisms or living things that we see. Or we could observe evidence that we have that might show that organisms are around. We can also observe the non-living parts of the environment, such as weather conditions, land features, or bodies of water. So let's make some observations. What do you notice about this environment? I notice that this is a land environment. I don't see any bodies of water. There are trees in the background and grass too. The sky is mostly clear, but it looks like it rained recently because there's water on the pavement. Do you see the benches and the playground equipment? If you look closely, you can even see a parking lot full of cars in the distance, and even some people. These observations give us a pretty good idea of the present-day environment in the South Central region. We can write a description here. We can say that this environment is a park that has a lot of human-made objects, such as playground equipment and park benches. There is concrete that covers the ground on the sidewalk and in the parking lot. The parking lot is full of cars, which tells us that people are around. There are also trees and grass. One of your tasks today is to draw a sketch of the environment where you live. You will also write a description of the organisms in the environment, as well as the non-living parts of the environment. Let's revisit this illustration of the environment in the South Central region and, for most of North America, hundreds of millions of years ago, and make a comparison. How does the past environment of this region compare with the present-day environment? Well, the past environment was covered in water. We think it might have been an ocean or a lake. The present-day environment is land. I also noticed that the organisms that lived here in the past don't live here anymore, because the present-day land environment is not the environment that these water organisms would need to survive. Would you say the environment in the South Central region has changed over the years? I know I would. Now, one of your tasks today will be to write 2 comparison statements that describe differences between the present-day environment and the past environment where you live. Remember that in previous lessons we learned that this illustration of the past environment represents North America. So, what can fossils tell us about the South Central region? Well, we've determined that fossils can tell us what kinds of organisms lived in the South Central region in the past. And those organisms can tell us something about the environment where they lived. We can also compare fossils with organisms that live in the present-day environment to learn how the environment has changed over time. Wow, that is a lot of new information. I think we should write it down so that we can keep track of it all. Your final task after this lesson will be to summarize your knowledge about fossils. We have really honed our detective skills as we used fossils to find evidence about the past. I want to apply those skills to the butterfly fossil. Do you think we can look at more fossils from the time period when this butterfly formed? When we learn more about this butterfly's past environment, we can compare it with the present-day environment. In upcoming lessons, we'll do just that. We'll observe fossils found in the same area as the butterfly fossil to figure out what those fossils reveal about the past environment. Let's review your tasks for today. First, sketch your present-day environment and write a description. You can include observations about organisms you see, any non-living features that you notice, and the weather conditions. Using the sketch you made, write 2 sentences that compare the environments. Third, summarize your knowledge of fossils.